Welcome to today's webinar from Lightcast. We're going to be looking at streamlining the tracking of labour market demand. We've got some special guests in attendance from CITB. Just want to say a couple of logistics. We've got a chat box over on the right-hand side. If you've got any questions, you can put them in there and we'll do our best to cover them off during the webinar. And if we can't, we'll follow up with them afterwards. Just to introduce myself, I'm Will Cookson, Account Director, primarily working with our communities and government customers. Been with Lightcast now, I think I'm approaching 7 years, including previous incarnations. And then I'd just like to introduce our guest speakers from CITB. And we have...
Hi, I'm Adam Evans. I've been with CITB now for around 18 years, and I've been working on Lightcast data for the last couple of years.
Hi, I'm Dana Sheenan, also an industry analyst at CITB. Both myself and Adam working in the analysis and forecasting team.
Okay, great to have you both here. I'm just going to go through the agenda. We're going to have a few introductions of our actual organisation, so a bit about Lightcast and CITB. We're then going to look at why CITB tracks labour market demand and how it's currently tracking labour market demand. And then we're going to, and this is the main focus of today's webinar, we're going to get into the dashboard that Lightcast have created for CITB and how that has been able to streamline that process. And then we'll talk about what plans CITB have for that in the future. Bit of a summary, and then I've got some interesting resources to share right at the end of the webinar. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Lightcast for those that don't know us. We are a US-based organisation that operate globally. Our mission is to unlock new possibilities in the labour market, and we do that through providing the most accurate labour market information on the market. Our aims are that through our labour market research, our analytical software and our data expertise can help a range of customers and stakeholders, from education providers, helping them to connect their provision to the needs of the local labour market, to communities to create more effective programs for economic prosperity, and through to employers to help them better understand their own workforce skills and help them to identify talent for future growth. And I'm going to introduce Dana from CITB, who's going to talk a bit about their organisation and their mission and aims.
CITB is the industry training board for the construction sector in England, Scotland and Wales. It's our job to help the construction industry attract talent and to support skills development. Our mission is to support the construction industry to have a skilled, competent and inclusive workforce now and in the future. CITB have three main aims or pillars of work. Firstly, to inform and enable the right people into construction. Getting more trained people into industry is a key priority for CITB. To develop a training and skill system to meet the future needs, making sure relevant training is available at the right time and place. To support the industry to train and develop its workforce, providing incentives to upskill the existing workforce.
Thanks, Dana. I'm just going to go on to the next slide. And I'd like to pose a question, really, which is why is it important for CITB to track labour market demand?
So Lightcast has helped us to better understand labour demand for the construction sector. It's allowed us to put this into context through comparisons with other sectors and with the wider economy. We're able to track vacancy trends and the impact that a change in an economic change in the environment can have on job listings. We are able to use Lightcast data to review vacancies at both a regional and occupational level, highlighting potential pinch points where demand is particularly high. So using this insight, CITB are able to consider how best to provide support to the industry in the areas it is most needed. This could form part of CITB's thinking in its strategic and business planning. The targeted support could be awareness raising for high demand construction roles, improving the provision and incentivising of certain training courses to upskill and fill the gaps. It's also been used in engaging. Some of the ways we provide our support is through the products we offer, and this is supported in its delivery through our engagement teams. For example, we can increase awareness of high demand occupations through our Go Construct website, which provides guidance to potential entrants on careers options. We have a new entrant support team who support employers in recruiting the skills that they require. And CITB build close partnerships and networks with employers and training providers to help them improve the quality and accessibility of training.
Thanks, Dana. I think it's really interesting hearing about the breadth of what you as an organisation do, and also how you're using labour market information and demand to support that. I was interested in understanding how CITB track labour market demand, and you've mentioned some of the ways in which you use it, but just that process. And I guess specifically I was interested in understanding where the need came or arose for what we ended up building, which is obviously the Lightcast construction industry dashboard.
So prior to having the dashboard, we were creating numerous monthly reports to track job listings for the UK, but then also separately for the different regions and nations. This could be quite time consuming, and we would also receive requests from our engagement colleagues on top of this, who were often interested in only one region or may have had an interest in a certain trade or occupation. So as a team, we started to discuss different ways of trying to streamline this process, hoping for a quicker and easier way to track job listing trends. With only a few subscriptions held in our team, we wanted a way for more of the whole of the analysis and forecasting team to have an overview of the trends accessible to them when they needed it. And so this is where the idea of the dashboard came about. We discussed the options of a self-service dashboard containing just the right amount of information to maintain a knowledge and an awareness of construction vacancy trends. We thought this could also have a wider benefit to the organisation, so that they could have sight of this sort of information we have available to support them in their roles and support their thinking. And this is therefore available to them now via our SharePoint site. We created the dashboard based on 38 standard occupational codes, classification codes, which aligns to CITB's footprint. And this has also ensured that when construction job listings are being quoted, that this has some standardisation. The visuals on the dashboard are also really clear, so that the information is easy to process for all the different users and can be used through exporting it and sharing it with their teams. The additional information alongside the time series, such as the skills, the certifications and experience level requested as part of a job listing, also helps their thinking around the support that CITB provides.
That's really interesting to hear. And I remember from conversations that we've had previously, it was about it being able to be easily understood outside of the kind of analyst roles you have within the organisation. So you will come to it knowing and understanding the data, but it was about it being easily understood. We often talk about it at Lightcast as it being democratising the kind of insight that you can get from the data. I think what we're going to do now is have a bit of a deeper dive and look at some of the charts and the insight that you've got within the dashboard itself. So I'm going to bring Adam in to explain what it is that we're looking at here, and also just to describe the kind of the options that you have, and you can see the drop downs at the top of the screen there.
Thanks, Will. This is the first chart in our dashboard, and you can see we're looking at civil engineers here in the east of England. And we're looking at job postings over the last 5 years. So you can see kind of a typical drop off really from COVID time.
Yeah.
And then last year, if we look back, there was a kind of strong peak in the summer for job vacancies, and then a seasonal kind of rise this summer, and then things have kind of dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably in line with UK trends across all sectors. So I don't think that's something that is necessarily sector specific, but in line with broader trends. If I go to the next graph, this is slightly different in that it starts to focus in on the skills associated with the occupation that's been selected and the geography.
Thanks. So this is one of the more detailed charts in our dashboard. And again, we're looking at civil engineers in the east of England, but the kind of top skill areas that postings are focusing on. And it's quite useful kind of breakdown. We can see that the kind of things like AutoCAD are really important, as well as structural engineering and project management at the moment, as well as core skills in civil engineering. So it's really good to kind of get a kind of up-to-date picture of what the trends are that we can then share with our stakeholders.
And just to add on, really, in terms of the skills that we're looking at here, when we classify it as specialised skills, those are skills that we deem to be inherently linked to the occupation itself. And then you've got the percentage change and comparison over the last 365 days or the last year. In the next graph, do you want to talk about this one, Adam?
Yeah, so this chart shows job postings by the level of experience that employers are after at the moment. And it's sort of fairly typical across all occupations. A lot of employers are looking for fresh graduates or sort of people 1 to 2 years into their careers. But they're also some are looking for 3 to 5 years or more experienced levels as well. So it's really useful to kind of be able to drill down by occupation or area, and even into sort of local authority district as well, and get that picture for our stakeholders.
I thought this one was particularly interesting because when you compare job postings by experience level for civil engineers with some of the other occupations, it's quite significantly different, i.e. they are looking for higher levels of experience when they're going out to recruit. The next table that we've got is one that's I don't think we have this in our other products. It's something that was developed within the dashboard. Adam, can you tell us a bit about this one?
Yes, so as Will says, this was a kind of special chart that Lightcast developed for us. And what we're looking at is the highest earning specialized skills. So that could be a sort of software package, a skill area, or something that's kind of up and coming, and those that is really sought after by employers. So it commands the highest wages. I looked into a few of these, and most of these are to do with software engineering, computer programming, but for civil engineers. So it's quite a niche area, hence the high level of salary on offer. So again, another really kind of useful nugget that we can share with our stakeholders, and they can sort of see what's up and coming, and what training courses might be available for their staff.
Thank you, Adam. Next, we're going to just have a bit of a discussion, really, about how the dashboard is benefiting. I'm just keen to know how it's benefiting the organisation in terms of the impact it's been made. You've had access to it for a while now, so I'd just be interested to get some feedback, really.
So one of the key reasons for the dashboard was to reduce the time spent on pulling reports, and it has significantly reduced the time spent on pulling regular reports, and the visuals are really effective at a quick glance, even to show the trends, which is a key interest for us. One of the other thing that is really beneficial from the dashboard is having that consistency. So we do now have that consistency within the analysis and forecasting team. but then also across the business. So we're having this shared definition of construction when discussing job listing trends. And that's really important to us as we reach out to customers from so many different directions. So having consistency in the information we provide to each of them ensures that we are being seen as a reliable source of information, and that therefore maintains a good reputation for us. In terms of usability, so as discussed before, not every individual in our team has access to the analyst subscription. And so the dashboard really makes sure that the whole team is aware of this source of information that we hold and have familiarity with it in case of a query or they need it to support their work. And similarly, the wider CITB now have that awareness too of the availability of the information, and having access to the dashboard really stimulates discussion and potentially increases the opportunities to query this data in more detail. And their focus may be on a certain region, a certain occupational group, or around those skills and qualifications listed in some of those tables and visuals.
It's really interesting to hear how it has been, how it's been received really since the initial conversations that we had when we were kind of specifying what was required and what the potential use case would be. Adam, just one for you really. I'm really interested to know what plans CITB have for future use in regards to the dashboard.
Well, at the moment, we've just rolled it out across the business.
Mm.
So we're kind of taking stock of how people are using it, which features they like, and which features they'd like more of. And so once we've collected all of that, we're going to come back to Lightcast and see how we can develop it further for the future, and make it easier, more powerful, and enhance people's roles and the information we can share with our stakeholders. So nothing's set in stone at the moment, but we're very much looking forward to the future and how we can develop it going forward.
That's really positive. It sounds great. Right. I guess I just want to give a brief summary for everyone that joined us today. So essentially what we've discussed and covered off, CITB wanted to explore a solution that could help them monitor labour market demand more efficiently, to automate some processes that were quite manual, enabling them to provide more timely, insight-driven support. And to really support that overarching aim around influencing training and industry needs. The dashboard itself streamlined the ability for CITB to track labour market demand in the sector, making it easier for you and the organisation to share, analyse and understand key data. And we've heard about how that focus could be quite different, either geographically or on particular occupations, and there's flexibility to filter to those points within the dashboard itself. And then in terms of next steps, we heard from Adam in terms of looking to drive more awareness of the dashboard, gathering that feedback that then could be used to really inform the evolution of the tool over time, I should say. I'd just like to say as well as this webinar, we've also just published a case study on CITB's dashboard, which you will be able to find if you go to the blog section of the Lightcast website. I'd really like to thank both Adam and Dana for their input today, and just generally for bringing this issue, challenge, problem to us, and us being able to collaborate on trying to find a solution that hopefully has helped to address that. Couple of things to say, just to point to resources that we've got that are available. The Global AI Skills Outlook is on our website. It's interactive and it allows really looking at employer demand for AI skills across 16 labour markets in North America, Europe and Asia Pacific. And you can filter through that. Just thought it'd be useful to show, because it shows again how you can visualize data and making it easily accessible and easy to understand as well. And then we've done something similar earlier in the year. We looked at the digital skills outlook. And we basically did that looking at skills insights from employer demand, just looking at key trends in the digital skills revolution across 15 global labour markets that we're working in. There are links here. You'll find them on our website. They're interactive and fun to have a play with. In terms of other things to share, just to say, if you want to find out more about our dashboard, feel free to contact me and we can pick up a conversation. And then finally, just to thank you for joining us today. And thanks to CITB.
Thank you.
Thank you.